Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm starting a middle grade reading vlog because it is middle grade March. Now this is a readathon that's created by Life Between Words, Books and Jams, and also the Curly Reader, and it's all about reading middle grade throughout the months of March, and I'm just going to low-key participate with this vlog. I've got a lot to read on my March TBR already, so I'll just be reading a book here and there, but I thought it'd be nice to vlog the experience anyway. And the first book that I will be reading, or finishing off I should say, is Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend, and this one is going to fit the prompt of a book with strong family relationships, and it did say found family is okay as well, because I think that's equally valid as a family. And Morgan, Jupiter North, Jack, and also just the people at the hotel are really giving me found family vibes, so I thought this one could definitely count. I'm also reading this for the Wonder Along that I am hosting with Sabine from Sabine's Book Nook. I am over halfway through this book now because I'm at page 250 of 400, and I'm enjoying this one so much more than Nevermore. There's something about it that feels more grounded. Though not more things are explained, it just feels more, it's still whimsical, but it feels more together. I don't know how to say it, but it feels more grounded. And I feel like I'm relating to Morgan's character a lot, the way that she expresses love, the way she doesn't like a big fuss for her birthday, but then actually appreciates when people do something. And yeah, I'm just really connecting to Morgan's character, and I think this one is bringing in some very interesting themes. I felt like the first one was a bit shallow when it came to themes, but this one seems to be digging in there, because we have the theme of discrimination that Morgan is feeling simply because of her knack, and I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to give any spoilers. But I also think it's talking a lot about disappearances, and I feel like that's all that I can say, and it just seems like it's doing it in an interesting way. It's handling those themes, but it's still keeping the magic of Nevermore. There are times when they go to such creative and fun places like the bazaar, and I just wish I was there. There was a mention of sugar plum donuts and my mouth literally watered. I wanted some right now. So all I can say is that this book is kind of ticking the boxes for me with the middle grade. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's got its serious moments too, and I just really appreciate that. There were some characters that I thought were going to be more prominent characters. Like I thought Finestra was going to be a bigger role in the story, and she was my favourite in the first one, but that's just not how the story's going. I finished reading Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend, and I know that the author didn't take on board everything that I complained about in the first book and made it better just for me, but it feels like she did, because everything that I wanted more of she brought to the table in this second book. And I feel like this book got quite dark at times. It was quite scary, but you know, in a way that middle grade readers could definitely take for sure, and I appreciated it. I appreciated how much depth it went into, and it brought over the immigration theme of the first book, but then kind of added more to it in this second book, and then it also brought in some new themes that were really dark but also just very important, and I did quite a lot in a short space of time and showed the complexity within all of these themes in an incredibly good way. I just absolutely loved it. And then, as I said, I do think the people in the hotel are a found family. I wouldn't say it's like the most found family book ever. It's quite lightly found family, as they are secondary characters and not the main part of the story. But I definitely felt that the atmosphere in the hotel was really cute and everything. I definitely wanted more of some characters, but I was satisfied, and I feel like Unit 919 went through a lot of difficult times in this book, but hopefully they will start to bring found family vibes in the third book, possibly. We'll see, maybe. Gotta read it first. But yeah, I definitely think this was just an improvement from the second book, and just so much fun, so much development, and so much thematic content that I was here for. And now the next middle grade book that I want to read for this vlog is going to be Romaja by Radiya Hafiza, and this one comes out April 1st, so I'll leave the finished copy and what that might look like here if it's out already by the time I'm editing this. And this one is kind of retelling the fairy tale, so this is going to be for the retelling fairy tale or mythology prompt of middle grade March, and I think it's putting Muslim spins on the stories, because on the back here it says Romaja, let down your hijab, so maybe not all of them, but for some of them, and it combines the three fairy tales of Romaja, Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, but gives it a new twist. It's only 200 pages long, and the font is quite big in this arc, so I feel like it's one that I'm going to blitz through, and I'll probably get back to halfway, and then at the end, like I usually do with these vlogs. Now read halfway through Romaja, and I have to say I'm really loving this. I think it's just so refreshing to see a different take on these fairy tales, but not only that, it's kind of revolutionizing them a little bit. I love how the princesses are, or just the female characters, they're not always princesses, are saving themselves in this one, and the friendship is definitely a key thing over the romances in this story so far. And I'm just loving seeing these female friendships, seeing these females empower themselves, and it's just so lovely in a middle grade book. I also think it's just a creative way to link all of the tales. I'm loving how that's done, and there are some little illustrations along the pages. Because this is an art copy, I don't think you can see the illustrations are sketches still because they're going to be filled out in the final edition, but it's just altogether it's so much fun. I love seeing these different unique takes on these fairy tales. I like how it changes some characters so there's less girl on girl hate overall, I would say, in these stories. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and I started it this morning and I'm already over halfway now because I just kept reading. I couldn't stop even though I wanted to film this clip. So I'll finish that one tonight and then get back to you when it's later on. But briefly, before I take a yoga break from reading, I want to tell you about Olivia Literary Jewellery. This is an Etsy shop that's run by a bookstagrammer, or who was a bookstagrammer, now she just has her Etsy shop, and she sent me these beautiful Norwegian wood inspired bracelets that I'll show you a bit of a close-up of so you can see what it looks like. And the moment I saw this one on her Instagram, I was like, oh, that one's so gorgeous, because it truly is, and it just reminds me of books, and I love the crystals. So if you want to check out Zolabi's jewelry store, I'll have a link to her Etsy down below as well. It's just, you know, mentioning her in this video. Time to get back to reading. Yes, yesterday I did finish reading Romaja, and I just had such a good time with this book. I really like how it revolutionized the fairy tales, how it retold them, gave it a different spin. When I expected certain things to happen because I know the fairy tales and they didn't happen and something else happened, I either laughed or I just had a good time, or I could see the good messages it was spreading. And I think this one would be a delightful one to read with children. I think it'd be great as presenting this as the fairy tale, or if you want to read the fairy tale and then compare it to this one and have some really good discussions with children about why different versions bring across different things, which one does which better. I think that would just be such a great experience to have in schools. So I really enjoyed reading this, and I really recommend this middle grade. I think that the next middle grade I'll be reading is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which I won't be vlogging here because I have my Read It Backwards where I vlog all of that. So I'll be back to you once I figure out what my next middle grade read is going to be for middle grade March officially. But if I do finish Percy Jackson, it counts as middle grade March. So maybe I'll come in here and say like a few words about it. You might recognise this shot if you watched my Percy Jackson Read It Backwards, because I just finished rereading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and I'm counting this for the prompt of a character that goes on a journey or adventure, because the quest that Percy goes on in this book is definitely an adventure. Now I'm gonna spare you the synopsis of this book because I've been talking about this book on my channel a lot lately, but I really enjoyed my reread of this one, and I would say it's my favourite one of the series. It was good fun, I was smiling and laughing when reading it, and I just really like the friendships that are in this book. And now we get to the end of this reading vlog. I'm only going to be reading one more book for middle grade March, and because it's getting closer to the end of the month and I've been reading fairly slowly, I don't think I'm going to finish this one. But the next book I'm reading for this middle grade March readathon is Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend, which is the second book in the Nevermore Trials series, which is not going to be a trilogy, it's going to be longer than that. And I won't tell you what this one is about because I gave you a synopsis when I was talking about Wondersmith. I'm 40 pages into this book, and so far it's been a bit of a recap of what's happened in the past books, which is always nice when an author does that, because if you've been out of the loop for a while you get a bit of a refresher. And it's starting to show some of the darker sides to Nevermore, which is very, very interesting, and it shows why the Wondrous Society is important in Nevermore. Hello, so I'm here to quickly wrap up the vlog because I did not read more of Hollowpox, and that's that. We're just going to leave it there. I'm just going to say I didn't read any more, and that is the end of this vlog. Please let me know in the comment section down below, have you read any of these books? What are your thoughts on them? Or recommend me a middle grade book that you really, really enjoyed reading. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!